Welcome to Final Tribal Council, everybody. We're going to start this off by Bethany introducing the jury members who are present.
All right. Well, our first jury member present. Second member of the jury, we have Scott. Hello, Scott. Go ahead and wave us real quick. Our third member, we have Hunter. What's up? Nice to see you. Our fourth member of the jury, we have Wyatt. Hey, Wyatt. Go ahead and wave. And then our sixth member of the jury, we have Macy. Hey, Macy. And our seventh member of the jury is Frankie. Frankie is also here. What's up, Frankie? Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, jury. 5 out of 7 is great. People have work, which is very understandable. They will still cast a vote. Do not worry. I want to introduce our 3 finalists. If you have been following this season, you know who they are. Micah Walls, Aidan Chard, and Xander Calicdan. Micah, you want to give a wave? And I guess you can say hi. You're unmuted.
What's up?
Aidan.
Hello there.
And Xander. These 3 have fought their way, beating 13 other players in the process, doing what those 13 players couldn't do this season. Their strategies got them here. And tonight we're going to figure out through conversation, through questioning, who's going to be the sole survivor. We won't actually find out today who the sole survivor is. You're going to vote, and it will be announced at a live reunion show. We're going to talk about that after this jury, this final tribal council. If we have any questions before these guys do their opening speeches, say them now or forever hold your peace. All right, we're going to go youngest to oldest. Xander is going to start off with his opening speech. If at any point if you can't hear him, maybe message it in the chat, and then we'll fix something. Don't talk over him, because if everyone else can hear him, it might be your problem. We're just trying to keep this organized. Xander's going to start first.
Hey, hi guys. Well, I really had fun this time. Even if whatever the outcome is, I had a great time. Thank you guys for just making it so fun. But anyways, about my game, I feel like I played a very socially dependent game. I didn't necessarily have immunities all the time. I only had it once, but I was still able to make it through most of this game without receiving a single vote, except for Frankie at the very end, who voted for me. But I think that I knew where the votes were going for pretty much all of the time. I had a good understanding of my social relationships and my position in the tribe, and I was able to make big moves. Well, I was not shying away from making a move. I was able to make sure that I wasn't just sitting and letting the moves happen to me. I was making sure that I was actively pursuing a good game. And I think that, throughout this game, I was able to sort of play a game that wasn't necessarily dependent on advantages or twists or anything like that. I was able to just be who I am and make it to the end. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Xander. Aidan Chard.
Hi. So, I think that my game was mostly based off of strategic gameplay. While I did find it important to have, social relationships, part of that to me was, I came into this game saying I was going to do whatever I needed to do to get to the end. And sometimes that involved for me creating relationships and then, going against those relationships. But that was all part of my strategy to get me further in this game. I was able to make big moves that kept me in the game. I cast a vote for the person who went home at every tribal council that I attended. And on top of that, I was also able to win 2 individual immunities and find 3 hidden immunity idols, which I think might be my biggest achievement in this game, if it's not the big moves. So I hope that despite the fact that I did have a hand in voting all of you out, I hope that you can see past the anger that you might feel towards me for betraying you or for writing your name down, and respect me for the big moves that I made and the game that I played.
Thank you, Aidan. Micah Walls.
What's up, jury? I'll try and keep it short. Starting off with the immunity challenges, I won 4 of the 6 of them. I was immune for 5 of the 7 tribal councils. I survived the 2 tribal councils where I was not safe, and I think a lot of my social game goes to that. I made relationships with people, and I trusted those people, and they trusted me, and they kept me safe. Through the vulnerable ones, I was on the right side of every single vote. I hated sending some of you guys home, but I had to do what I had to do. I was loyal to my word for pretty much everything I said, with the exclusion of Wyatt, which I'm sure I'll get a question about from Wyatt himself, and I'll be happy to answer that. I played a great social game, in my opinion. I made a lot of cool relationships that I'm sure will take me outside of this game, and I'm just happy about the way that I played, and I'm excited to answer some of you guys' questions.
Thank you, Micah. Those were the opening speeches. At this time, Bethany is going to be picking and asking, sorry for the sound effect, is going to be picking and asking who is going to be, which of the juries are going to be talking. So I'm going to leave that up to her right now.
All right, the first person that will be questioning y'all 3 tonight is going to be Hunter. Hunter, go ahead and give us your question or questions for the 3 up here tonight.
Hello, guys. It's great to see you. Congratulations. So I do have a question for you 3. My first one goes to Micah, and that is, me and you haven't talked one-on-one, so I want you to briefly explain your social game. Because
Yeah, you have more, or that's it?
that's it. That's
Okay.
all for you.
Yeah, so I actually talked to Nick in our one-on-one yesterday and told him that my biggest regret of the game was not having a conversation with you. And the main reason that I didn't really have conversations with you and AB was because my goal from the beginning of the merge was to get you guys out of the game, because you were the least predictable, in my opinion, because I had no idea what kind of game y'all are playing. I hadn't been on any tribe with you from the beginning, or from our merge or swap tribes. And so I didn't want to necessarily build a relationship with you and, vote you out and feel bad about it. So instead I just, didn't talk to you at all and voted you out, which might be even worse. But that was the logic behind not speaking to you at all, which like I said, I regret.
All right. Aidan.
Hello.
So my question is for you. When we hit the merge, you went against your old alliance. Now, was this a hard move, or did you know, this is the move you had to make?
It was definitely a difficult decision. I did contemplate going both ways, but in the end, I felt like my game was going to be better if I stuck with Ahi rather than Y. And the reason I felt that was mostly because based off of the way that the tribe swap had gone, I saw that you, Hunter, had stayed with Scott and AB, and I didn't feel that either any of the 3 of you were going to choose to take me to the end over the other 2. And I felt that out of those 4 would be the one going home if the 4 of us made it to the final 4. And so it was definitely an incredibly difficult decision to make, to have to go against you guys, since you were the first people that I talked to, the first people I got to know. But it was what I think was the better move for my game.
Xander. So, so your game was flip-flopping. You voted out Sammy to keep trust with Macy, but then went against Macy. You tried keeping trust with me, but then went against it. Was this strategical, or was it just might as well?
So basically, what I did during the tribe swap was that I wanted to position myself so I could be in the best spot during the merge. I was able to choose between your side, Scott and you, and Wyatt and Micah. And I think because of that, I think me and Aidan both had that kind of power. But because of that, I was able to reassess if my alliance and my connection with Micah and Wyatt were strong enough to make it all the way to the end, or if I should stay with you and Hunter, or you and Scott. And ultimately, that's kind of what helped me make it this far. I was able to talk to Micah and make sure that I was still with them. And similar to Aidan, I felt that you wouldn't take me above AB or Scott. So I was just, and I had a feeling that Micah was more likely to take me than you. So, you know, even though I flip-flopped, it really was based on how I could get myself to the end, and it ended up working.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Hunter. All right, next we're going to have Miss Macy. Macy, if you'll unmute and go ahead and ask your question or questions.
Okay, so my first question is for Aidan. What do you think that the closest relationship you had made in this game is?
I would definitely say that in the end, it ended up being Micah, because although it took us a couple days to meet, you know, we had a good relationship right off the bat, and unfortunately, I did almost immediately blindside him and go against him. But right after doing that, I was able to fix that relationship and rebuild trust with him. And you can see that it took me far in this game. Micah definitely had opportunities to take me out. He could have taken me out at the tribe swap, the vote after I voted out Cameron. He could have taken me out at the final four when he had immunity. There were plenty of times where I was vulnerable, where he had the chance to take me out, and he never did. And because of that, I respected him and wanted to sit at the end with him.
Okay, my next question is for Xander. Why did you vote me out? I never got an answer to that.
Okay, that was probably the hardest decision of the whole game, was deciding whether you or Micah should go home. Ultimately, I just really was focused on getting myself to the final three, and I felt like if I had Micah still here, he could connect with Aidan. He was kind of like the in-between between me and Aidan, so that we would all three of us vote out Frankie. I feel like if it was me and you, it would have been more me and you versus Aidan and Frankie, and I feel like that might have ended in fire making. It might have ended in fire making, and that generally wouldn't have been better for my game. But it really was hard because I trusted you probably the most out of anyone, and it really sucked. But I think that we both played really kind of similar games, and sometimes that can be a little bit difficult in a final tribal council situation. So that's why I made the decision to vote you out. It was hard though.
Okay, Micah, what do you think your biggest move was that got you to the end?
I'd probably have to say getting out Wyatt. And as much as I hated getting out Wyatt, he was starting to get a little bit too unpredictable for me. At one point, the night after we had voted out Scott, Hunter was the next to go in my mind, just because I wanted to make sure we got the powerhouse, the three amigos out of the game. And so that was the plan. We had all decided on that. And then, you know, Wyatt and Hunter kind of connected and made a bond. And I saw that friendship starting to form, and it scared me a little bit. And Wyatt even started suggesting stuff like, you know, maybe we should get rid of Xander next, or maybe we should get rid of Macy next. And I was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about that. These are the guys that have been loyal to us. And so as much as I hated getting Wyatt out, I had to get him out just to make sure that I could go further in the game.
Also, congratulations to all of you. You guys did really good.
Thank you.
All right, Frankie, you're next. Go ahead and ask your question or questions.
Hi. So I just want to congratulate you three for making it this far. And my question is going to be the same for everyone. So I'm going to start off with Xander. What was your biggest move in this game that you made, like in your opinion?
Honestly, I think it was flipping on Hunter and Scott. You know, because I did that, I really, you know, it changed the whole game. I feel like if we voted out Jenna instead, then it totally would have been, you know, Scott and Hunter probably would have made it to the end, honestly. But I think that because of that, I was able to put myself in a better position, give myself a little bit more control over the votes, have a little bit more power. And then moving forward, I was able to better situate myself so that I am here today.
Okay, Aidan,
Yeah, I think that my biggest move was at the tribe swap when you and I were down 4-2 against original Ahi. It really looked like we were, both about to be the next two voted out. But I miraculously was able to find an idol before the next tribal council. And be- I decided that it was my best move to play the idol on you, despite the fact that you didn't show up at the tribal council, and I could be screwing myself by voting alone. Um, and voting Cameron out of the game because Cameron, I think, was one of the biggest social threats in the few hours that I talked to him. He seemed really, really comforting. I don't know if you felt the same way when we had that little video chat
Yeah.
with him, but he made me feel like, I want to take you two to the end. I'd be willing to vote out Jenna. I'd be willing to vote out Micah. I'd be willing to vote out all these guys.
Mhm.
And it scared me to have to play with someone like that. And in addition, because I made that move, I was basically protecting myself from. I wasn't sure whether or not Micah, Wyatt, and Cameron were playing me at that point.
Yeah.
I had had conversations with all of them. I wasn't sure if they were honestly going to vote you out or if they were going to try and vote me out.
Mhm.
But I believed that they were telling me the truth, that they were voting you, and which is why I played the idol on you instead of trying to protect myself.
Okay, thank you. Micah?
Kind of like I just said, I think my biggest move was getting rid of my right-hand man, my best friend in the game, Wyatt, which he's shaking his head because I'm sure he's still hurt about it. I still feel bad about it, but that was the biggest move I had to make, was getting rid of probably my closest ally in the entire game.
Okay, thank you guys. Good job.
All right, Scott, go ahead and ask any questions that you have for the three finalists.
All right. I've been out for a while, so it's good to see you guys. No hard feelings anymore. I have the same question for all three of you. I'll start out with Xander. Let's say for some reason it was final twist of the game. It's actually a final two. Which one of the other two finalists would you remove? Let's say you won immunity, and why would you do that?
It's hard to say because I feel like I've been loyal to Micah this whole game, but I feel like I would I would vote him out because I think it would be a good move at that point. I really wanted him at the final. The reason that I didn't vote him out at the final 5 was because I wanted him for the final 4, and then we could make it all the way to the end. But if it's the final 2, it's a much different situation. So I would say that I think me and Aidan would be a better final 2 in my standpoint, and I think that's how I'd be able to better argue my game and make sure that I take this dub.
Micah, same question to you.
I think that I would definitely take out Aidan because I feel like both of them played a great game, but I think what takes Aidan over Xander is just his idle finds. I think they both played a great game socially. They both played a great game through challenges, but Aidan's idols would take him over the top, so I would definitely get rid of Aidan out of the two of them.
And then Aidan.
I would actually vote out Xander because I think that like I said earlier, I mean the person I've stayed the most loyal to throughout this game is Micah, and I think that it would ruin that last little shred of loyalty that I can show to you guys that if I were to vote him out. And in addition, I think that Micah is, like you said, he's a great social player. He's won immunities, and I would, I want as big of a competition as possible. And I'm not trying to diss you, Xander, but I think that, Micah's a huge threat, and I think we've all known this the entire time, and that's why I would want to sit next to him.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Wyatt, you may ask your question or questions to the final 3.
So first of all, I want to ask Micah why he voted me out.
Well, like I said, Wyatt, you and Hunter were getting close. You kind of wanted to change that vote. We had kind of decided to get rid of the big 3 first. And, you and Hunter made amends. I saw y'all getting closer. That was threatening to me. And so I had to get rid of Hunter for sure after that, even though you were a little skeptical about that. And after we got rid of him, like I said, you suggested possibly blindsiding Macy or Xander and moving forward with Hunter. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. That's a little unpredictable to me. You could possibly do the same thing to me. And so that's why I got you out, even though you were the person that I probably trusted the most.
I was going to try to blindside Aidan that night because I knew he had the idol and he was a big threat. But me and you were like this. I was never going to write your name down, even if you lost immunity. But that's probably my biggest mistake in the game.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. It was a good move. And then my next move is for Aidan. My next question, I mean. So you were good at finding idols. You told me that about every idol you found, except for the Frankie one. We shared idol clues and stuff. Did you know I was coming for you that night, or did you just play the idol?
I will say that both Macy and Micah had notified me that you were considering writing my name down. But, you know, I wasn't 100% sure because, I mean, with you, there was no knowing exactly where you were going to go on any given vote. I, to be completely honest, had wanted to vote you out for a couple votes because I wasn't 100% sure. Like I said, I wasn't 100% sure where you were ever going to end up. And it just so happened that, you know, because you were considering throwing my name out there, it all kind of, you know, fit at the right time. It was the right place at the right time for me to be able to convince people that you're probably, it was probably your name that should be written down tonight.
That was a good job on you, because that day that you were going to give me the idol if we lost, I was going to play for Jenna, and then me and Micah were going to write your name down.
Yeah.
So that was a good move.
Thank you. Thank you.
Then Xander, where do I get started? I promised you on day one we were going to go to the end. Day one. You flipped every time you got the opportunity. You told me that Sammy was a rock draw, and then I texted Scott and Hunter to clarify that. You're still on
Xander,
mute.
I would like to let you know you are muted, so we can't hear anything you're saying.
I told you that I didn't want a rock draw, because if I had voted against, who was it, AV, then it would have been a rock draw. That would have been messed up. I wasn't gonna risk my game over a rock draw. But anyways, continue.
That's really all I had to say to them. May I ask another question to Micah? Why didn't you tell me I was going home that night? You knew I didn't have anything, like an idol or anything.
Well, obviously, a blindside is a bigger move, in my opinion, than telling someone that they're going home. And as well as usually in Survivor history, when someone goes and tells somebody that they're going home, usually things don't go as planned anymore. Usually when you go and say, hey, just letting you know I'm going to vote you off, usually that person comes up with some kind of strategy to save their butt or to make chaos happen. And I was afraid of that. You were great at creating chaos. You were great at stirring up last minute stuff. And that scared me. And so I didn't tell you because, you know, those two reasons.
The reason I wanted Hunter gone that night was because he was the biggest threat, in my opinion. And once he was gone, I knew it was going to be me. So I wanted to save him and then put Jenna out there because Jenna hadn't really done anything this whole game. But yeah, that's it. That's all I had to say.
Before we do, thank you guys on the jury. Before we do a final statement and then a vote, I want to offer it up to any of you 5 jury members. If you have anything left to ask, if you're undecided, this is a time to bring something up, and I would love for you guys to do that. So I'm gonna leave that open right now. If you want to, just start speaking, and we'll do that.
Micah, after all my alliance members got voted out, why didn't you guys come for me next?
When are you talking? Like after we voted out the Power 3?
Like after AB, Hunter, and Scott went out.
Yeah. So we kept you because you claimed you were loyal to me, and you pretty much showed that in past votes. And I knew you were close to Aidan. Aidan trusted you, which meant I trusted you because I trusted Aidan. And we knew that we could use you down the line. And you continually said, hey, as long as you keep me safe, I'm going to vote with you. And that's what you did for the most part until I was vulnerable and you guys tried to pull a fast one on me that I luckily survived, but that's why we kept you around.
Okay, thank you.
I also have something. Okay, Micah, how did you figure out that me and Xander flipped on you?
Well, I actually didn't know that Xander flipped on me, so you kind of threw that out under the bus. But I was having a lot of conversations with people. At first, I really couldn't figure it out because I was running the numbers and the numbers could have gone either way. Like I couldn't tell if Jenna had flipped. I couldn't tell if it was you and Xander that flipped or if it was Aidan and Frankie that flipped. And so there's a lot of chaos running through my mind. But we decided on getting rid of Jenna next just because Jenna wasn't playing. And so through that vote, I kind of found out that it was you, and I assumed it was Frankie. But now that I know it's Xander, it kind of changes some stuff. But so me and Aidan wrote your name down on the next vote. I told Xander to write Frankie's name down just in case he wasn't trustworthy. And then you and Frankie wrote down my name, and then it was a tie. And then I told Xander, hey, change it to Macy. Let's get her out of here. I'll take you to the end. And that's kind of how that happened.
I have something to say. So, Aiden, after the merge, you were with us 100%. I believed you were with us, but nobody else did. Everybody was telling me to stop trusting you, stop adding you to chats, and I was the only reason they trusted you. Because Micah actually texted me and told me to stop adding you to chats because we didn't know if you were with us 100%. I believed you were.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I had, 2 votes ago flipped on you guys. So I don't blame you, but, I felt like my game was safer in the hands of you and Micah than it was with Scott and Hunter. I felt that neither of them would want to take me to the end. Both of the two of you seemed like you would. So.
Yeah, I thought I was safe too that night until I saw that idol come out. I thought you were still voting Jenna. I didn't think I was going home. I was utterly shocked when I saw my name come up. Not once, but twice. I was surprised Micah had written my name down because I promised him I would never write his name down in this game. He told me that too. He could have won every individual immunity but one, and I still wouldn't have voted him out. That's all I had to say.
All right, I got a question.
Go ahead, Hunter, and then Scott, you can go after Hunter.
I'm sorry, Scott. So this question is for Xander. So during the Sammy vote, you voted me, which caused the tie. And you told me the reason you voted me was because you wanted to keep trust with Macy. I wanted to ask if that was true, or you genuinely wanted to vote me out, but didn't want to go to Rocks for Sammy.
Okay, I'm going to tell you the whole truth here. Okay, so first, when you were talking about splitting the votes, right? That's when I was thinking, oh, maybe I can make it so that it's a 3-2-1. The three of us, me, Macy, and Sammy vote for you. And then you guys do the 2 and the 1. But then you told me straight out that you guys were not splitting the votes the way that I thought you were. So that's when I decided that I'm probably just going to have to vote out Sammy. But I still did want to keep Macy as a number. I would have been her closest ally at that point if Sammy went. So what I did tell you was true. There was just a little bit of backstory before it.
Stop.
Yeah, I just want to throw out there, please stop calling AB Hunter and I are Power 3. It was literally just Hunter and I and then AB following votes. I just want to say that because it's been bothering me.
Sorry.
We were not a Power 3 at all. I didn't want to bring AB to the end.
I
I just want to say that. I'm not putting it against any of you. I'm just saying that AB would have beaten all of us in challenges. She was smarter than us. I was not bringing her to the end. I just wanted to say that. That's all. Not even a question. You can comment on it. Just wanted to say that because it's been bothering me.
Do we have any more comments or questions for the final three?
Yes, I do.
All
I'd
right.
just like to congratulate all three of y'all for making it here. Y'all all played good games, including Micah and Aidan, because Aidan found 2 idols and I looked hours and I couldn't find anything. 3 idols.
I had 3 idols. Thank you very much. I
But you
need that
played
little
2
bit of pride.
miscorrect. You only played 1 correct though.
That is true. And if I may, defend my choices for the other 2, you know, I figured both of the first night when we voted you out, the night I played my first or my second idol, it was more because Hunter had called it out at the end of the last tribal. Everybody knew that I had it, and it kind of lost all of its power.
I told Hunter to build trust with
and
him after that tribal.
And at that point, earlier that day was when I had found the 3rd idol, so I knew that even if I played that idol, I would still have 1 more left.
So you had 2 at one time?
Yes.
Good job, good job.
The 3rd idol play, I was between playing it for me and for Micah on that final 5 vote. The reason I decided to play it for me was just because I knew that if I were to play it for Micah and my name got written down, that wouldn't do me any good. If I misplayed it for someone else and got sent home, my game was automatically over. If I played it for myself and Micah went home, I still would have had a chance. And so I felt that, I wasn't going to sacrifice my game out of the possibility that people were voting Micah. So that was why I played it for me that night.
And then I'd like to go to Micah again. Congratulations, Micah. You played the game I wanted to play. You won immunities. You were trustworthy. Although I wasn't always trustworthy, but I was always trustworthy to you, Micah. I had never lied to you once in this game. I had told you everything. And then you won immunities. I was always last place in the individual immunity challenge, if not tied for second to last place. I wasn't a threat whatsoever. But at this point, I'd say there's only really 2 people that deserve the win, and it's either Micah or Aidan, which I would say Micah most deserves at this point because he has played the best game. He won immunities. He strategized. Because this post swap and me and Mike had always came up with the moves together. The Madeline vote was our decision. We had talked every night after tribal council for at least 20 minutes on who should go next and what if we found an idol or there was an idol play. And then we had always voted Jenna second because she was inactive, just in case that somebody had an idol, because it would be the easy vote out and she didn't really do much. So I think Micah deserves the win here, and I hope that everybody votes for him. That's all I had to say.
Scott, you want to talk?
Oh,
Yeah.
I wanted to talk. You can go, Scott.
Okay, just real quick. Seeing that he just threw that out, I just want to give Xander a chance to talk. Just in case, if you want to say anything based off of that. Just giving you the opportunity to talk based off.
Okay. The one thing that I would say in response to what Wyatt just said, I would say that I really don't think that Jenna would have gone if we went to tribal again. I'm pretty sure it was going to be Macy because Cameron was kind of planning on it. Cameron was the one that was leading that alliance of us 5 on Ahi, and I think that's the truth. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. And Wyatt, when you told me that you wanted to take me to the end, I honestly just did not believe you. I really thought that you were saying that to everybody else, and it was just I was it was just too quick. You said it within 5 minutes of me first talking to you, and I was like, oh, this is kind of weird.
Yeah, whenever we had a swap or something, I had always played too hard. I know I'd come up to Scott trying to get him to give information to me by telling him I was on the bottom. But he didn't believe that. He saw right through my lie because I'm a bad liar. Most all of the tribal councils who are trying to make a move, I just stand there like this because I can't control my facial expressions. I just laugh whenever I lie or smile. So that's Nick. That's why I'm always like this. So I can try to control my facial expression so nothing happens. But I don't think Cameron was at the top. Me and Micah had made all the moves together, and we had come up with most of them. But we let Cameron take the fall for them, and that's why he was voted out instead of me that night that Aidan had played the idol.
Hunter, I believe you had something you wanted to say before Scott started talking.
Oh yeah. So Wyatt said, Micah was the only person to deserve the win. So I'm gonna just defend Aidan and Xander real quick. First of all, Aidan, you found 3 idols, which is incredible because I've spent countless hours, nights I've stayed up just looking for it, and I couldn't find a single one. And me and you had the same clues because Wyatt was giving me all the clues Micah won for immunity. He was giving me all the clues, and I still couldn't find it. And you found 3. Like, that was incredible. And
Thank
then
you. Yeah.
and then Xander, I'm gonna defend your game a bit. Like, you were flip-flopping, but like you were playing both sides to the point where one side wasn't gonna vote you and the other side wasn't gonna vote you. So you were kind of in a spot where nobody was gonna vote you, and you didn't receive a single vote until Frankie decided to vote you. And I think that is pretty incredible.
All
Can
right,
I say one thing?
go ahead, Xander.
One thing that I totally forgot that I even did until Nick reminded me. I gave Hunter a fake clue to the idol. At the swap, I just made up a clue just so that he would go somewhere else. And then he went all in on it. Like, he was giving me all these ideas of who it might be, and I think that really just distracted him from finding a real idol. And I really didn't want him to have an idol at all. I didn't want him to have power. So that was one of the moves that I made that not a lot of people really knew about. I think Macy might have been the only person that knew that I did that. But yeah, green fire is not a real clue.
I brought it up with Sammy, but Sammy was totally in on it. She's like, "Oh, that's the clue? Okay, okay," and she was in on it. Wow. But man, you had me. I thought it was real. I showed it to Scott. Scott thought it was real until he brought it up one time. He's like, maybe it's fake. And I'm like, that looks so real. Like, that was well done.
Do we have
Can I
any?
say one more thing?
Macy can go first, and then Frankie.
Okay.
So, Xander, where do you think you would be right now if I had gotten 500 more points in that challenge and you didn't?
Honestly, I would say that it might have been a similar outcome. Oh no, obviously you went home. But I would say that it might have been Micah going home. I think that at that point I would have had less of a choice. You and Frankie were already voting Micah, and I was kind of just in the middle, so I probably would have just done you, to be honest. And I don't know where Micah and Aidan would have voted if you had won instead of me. So it's really hard to say, but I really think that I still would have been safe anyway. So I don't necessarily think I needed that immunity.
Frankie?
I just want to say one thing about that. That day, I didn't vote Micah out. I actually voted out Jenna that day. But my question was for Aidan. After you told me that you were never going to vote me out, why did you vote me out, at the end?
Yeah. The reason was because of that final 5 vote. I, was kind of at the mercy of you after Micah and I had both not won immunity. And I thought that, I had trusted you through this game, and we had a certain level of trust. And I thought because of that, and because of the move I made at the swap to save you, that you would continue to vote with us. But I saw at that final 5 vote that you were willing to write down Micah's name. And I didn't think, I knew that once I saw that had you gotten your way or had you won immunity at Final 4, you were going to, or you might not want to stick with me at the end. You'd be willing to write my name down at Final 4. And because of that, I was afraid, and I didn't want to risk that.
Okay.
Does anybody have anything else to say? We are winding down now before final speeches. I think we are good. We're gonna go in the same order. Xander's gonna give his final speech, then Aidan, then Micah. So when you're done, Xander, just say it, and Aidan, you just pick it up, and then we'll go and then we'll vote. So Xander, you can start us off.
Okay. Hi. I think that, basically the consensus is I played a very, it was more of a lying, a backstabbing game. I did a lot of things. I flipped, I played the middle, I lied, I made up clues, I did all those things. And whether or not, like, you know, it's a game that you respect is totally up to you. That's just how I like decided to play. I did a lot of things that I think was strategic. I played socially. You know, I had a lot of opportunities for me to do those kinds of things. And I think that it did work in my favor. Like Hunter said, I played in the middle and I wasn't really at risk of going home throughout almost the entire merge until like the very end when Frankie gave me that one vote. I think there was a point where Scott told me, like, you're probably not going to make it. Like, once you vote us three out, you're going to be the next one going. And I feel like I knew that that wasn't going to happen. Micah told me from the very merge that he wanted Wyatt out already. And I was like, okay, I feel like I can wiggle into this alliance and I can make myself be here and give myself a position. You know, I tried to play the best that I could. I only incorrectly voted, I think, two times. I voted for Frankie in the final six. You know, there were some moves that I made that you might not even like realize, but I think that in the end, I played a good game. It was a fun game, and hopefully that we all had fun.
I think that, you know, my game was definitely not at all under the radar. I think that the way that I played my game was very, very visible to everybody else. I mean, but the biggest things that I think that I did was, you know, my ability to convince people that I was with them, that I was going to vote with them. I think the best example of that is after the tribe swap, when I played an idol, voted out Cameron, and then immediately convinced both Micah and Wyatt that I was trustworthy and that they should, you know, trust me to vote with them, that they should not feel bad that I voted out their closest ally. And the next vote, when they had a chance to vote me off, they didn't. And then going into the merge, I was able to convince Scott and Hunter that, you know, despite the fact that I had just voted off Nikki, I was going to ride with them. I was going to roll with them and vote with them because I didn't trust Ahi. And they believed me. I was able to get people to believe that I was with them, to the point where even though I think that my name was, you know, being thrown out a lot because I was playing a big game, my name was only written down once. People had plenty of opportunities to take me out and they didn't. And I just made sure that nobody knew what I was thinking at any given time. If I had a strategy, I would tell, you know, one person part of it, I would tell another person another part of it, and then, you know, triangulate and kind of determine what was the best move based off of what the other two people were saying. So nobody knew, you know, who I was targeting at any given point. And I think, you know, I hope that you guys vote for me. I think that I played a great game, but regardless, I had fun and it was a good time. So thank you guys.
Yeah, so I'll try not to say everything I said in my opening statement, but I'll just say this. We saw this with Cameron. When you play very hard at the beginning, you're usually gone. And so I played a very low-key game at the beginning. Come merge, you guys saw I tried really hard in those challenges to make sure that I was safe, just in case that someone was lying to me and I didn't have the numbers. I made a lot of relationships with people. I talked to a lot of people and connected with them past the game. Even after the challenge, I don't know if the jury saw this challenge, but we did a challenge where, you know, you took a survey and one of those questions was, if you were in the jury, who would you vote for to win? And pretty much everybody held up Micah. And that was sickening to me because that meant the next time that that I was not going to be safe, I thought I was going home because everybody saw that I was a threat. Everybody saw that these people were going to vote for me, and that scared me. Yet I somehow still survived. My relationships held strong, and I just felt like I played the game that I wanted to play going into this. I'm not very good at lying. I'm not very good at deception. And so I played the game how I knew how to play it, and I'm very proud of the way that I played.
Thank you so much for the three finalists and everything you did. Give you a real round of applause. Thank you for the jury, for you guys questioning in the game that you guys played to now determine who's going to win. But we need to determine who's going to win. So at this time, you may send me your votes for who you want to win Virtual Survivor Season 1.
Wait, do we send them in a video or a text?
Either.
Like a predator on God. Hello, everybody. That was quick. I have all of the votes for Virtual Survivor Season 1. We have AB joining right now. So we're going to give 1 second as her audio connects. As I was saying, I have all of the votes for Virtual Survivor Season 1
final tribal council, the winner right here. Those will be read at a future date for the live reunion. I'm sorry you guys have to wait. What we are doing now is I'm going to give you a rundown of how it being aired is going to look. So if you guys have a preconceived notion, I might snuff that. But I wanted to give you an idea of what it's going to look like. And I also want you guys to know how the reunion show is going to work when that comes up. First off, and I've never done this already, but I want to thank you guys. Like, I really appreciate everything you guys put into this season. The jury, people who made the merge, everyone pre-merge, just you guys create a fantastic season. And I'm so excited for it to air, and I'm so excited for that reunion show where we get to crown a winner of this game, ask questions, talk about future seasons potentially. Essentially, I'm just really grateful for you guys. You made it fun. You made it go by quickly. It was 10 days worth, and it went by like crazy. It was awesome. Bethany and I talked, every day about how we felt about different things about the game, and you guys made this possible. What I'm going to talk about now real quick before we leave, and you guys can rest and, use your sweat towels to wipe off your last bit of survivor sweat. Scott, I want to tell you how airing is going to go. You guys were part of Alliance group chats. I didn't get to see your one-on-ones unless you added me to those. Not many did. I didn't take a lot of screenshots of chats. Once you're eliminated, you leave that group. All of what you said disappeared. So what I decided to do to keep up on stuff is I would write down who made a group chat alliance, who was in the alliance, and what were their plans for that before that vote. So how posts are going to go, there's going to be intro posts talking about you guys, really the stuff that you made. If you talk, all of you guys talked except for one person in your intro videos, Hunter. And so I'm excited for the the fans are going to find out about you guys. They're going to find out about Bethany and I. Before I post anything, I'm going to be posting mock, the pictures.
Did you send me my mom's Mother's Day card?
When you put this picture.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
I'll
do that. Sorry. I don't think it was good.
Okay. I'm playing the game of Life with Bever. She's never played.
Oh wow, fine. Okay.
All right. Thank you for that entertainment, AB. We appreciated that.
Oh my God, wait. Sorry, was I not on mute?
No, you weren't.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
That's so embarrassing. I had my computer muted because my cousin called me for a second. So I didn't hear that you guys were talking. I'm really sorry about that.
You're okay. No, don't need to be sorry for anything. So what I was saying was, before the season airs, I'm going to be posting mock stuff. Those posts of your tribe. So when it was Ahia and Y, when there's the 8 photos in one team, I might make up a fake team of different pictures of Bethany and I, and I'm going to actually show how alliances are made. So if there was an alliance of 3 people, they're going to be highlighted or bordered, and so that's an alliance within the tribe. And then you're going to swipe on the Instagram post, and it's going to give a summary on the next picture about what that alliance discussed. So that's how alliance posts will work. Challenge posts will be different. If there was a Zoom recording, it'll be an Instagram TV post that will just be the challenge and then maybe some descriptions. If it was one that we did over the group chat, if I took any pictures, but it'll be described, and in summary it will be given. Everything is written down. So that's how challenges will be posted. Tribals are all over Zoom, and so I'll post those, and then on a separate tag I will say who voted for who afterwards, so the fans know where people's minds are at. So essentially that's how it's going to work. I'm going to take the next 2 to 3 days to collect and organize everything for the editing process. And then by Friday or Saturday, you're going to actually see the episodes start airing. It's most likely going to air in the same way that it was filmed. If some might be meshed together more, but if there was 2 eliminations in one day, there isn't enough content that happened between confessionals and alliance conversations where I would make that an entire day, one of those. So there's 2 eliminations and 2 challenges and 2 tribals. That will all be in one day's worth of posts. It'll probably be about a week and a half of posts before Friday or Saturday. You will see promotional stuff, talking up like me talking, Bethany talking, introducing us so the fans understand who's in charge of this before we get into you guys, which is really what's important here. And so once I start airing it, either Friday or Saturday, everyone in the cast will be contacted. We have each other's Snapchats. We'll be contacted regarding when a reunion show will be, and then we'll discuss a time that day where we can do it. It will be live, so we'll be on Zoom together, and it will also be connected to the Virtual Survivor YouTube account, which hasn't been utilized. The YouTube account will also have access to any Zooms in case it's too hard to watch on Instagram. They'll still be posted there, but I want that to be accessible if you're on Zoom also, or on Instagram, you can watch the Zooms, so all tribal councils and a few challenges. Sorry I'm talking so much. I just want you guys to know how this is going to look once we're done. If you have any questions, let me know. The reunion show will be fun. Really, the 3 finalists are who should be required to be there because you kind of want to know if you won or not. Anyone else is welcome from the entire season. And then afterward, so we're going to crown a winner during the reunion show. And then what we're going to do is throughout the season, I'm sure there's going to be things, depending on the following that we get. We don't know how much. We might get, 10 likes and 1 comment per post, but it'll take some time for people to start seeing stuff. If we have things that people talk about, whether it's, things that Wyatt said or Xander, giving a fake clue, those are things that maybe we can talk about at that reunion show. Just like after there's a winner, we kind of laid back going, hey, so what's this aspect of the show? And Bethany and I can talk about some behind the scenes stuff. And then lastly, at the reunion show, we are going to be talking about the future of Virtual Survivor. As of this moment, nothing is concrete yet. Bethany and I have not met talking about it. We both have extreme interest in doing a season 2, but that's not something we're going to promise until we know for sure. We don't want to get sick of this, and so there will be a breather that we're going to take. Not that you guys should be too concerned because you really can't apply and play for season 2, but I want you guys to know. So that's all the information. I'm sorry I just kind of ranted at you guys regarding airing and a reunion show in the future a little bit. The only other thing I want to ask you guys before we leave for the final time in the game is do your best not to share this with people who might want to follow the show. The real survivors in real life, they go home and they tell their families. Obviously, there's people that you can tell. There might be friends that you've made on the jury where you're like, hey, I voted for this person. And do your best to not spoil anything for each other. The 3 finalists, they want to know who won, but they want to know at the reunion show. I don't think it would be fair to them for it to be spoiled. So if a bunch of jury people get together and talk about who they voted for and maybe potentially figure out, don't share it to anybody. Please try to keep that to yourselves. It's a respect thing. You put in so much time for a game like this, and to have it spoiled in that way would be really disrespectful for the time that you put into it. A proper vote reading at the reunion show is what the winner and the other 2 finalists deserve. And so just do your best in that regard. When you're watching it air, like if you're voted out, Scott, if your episode's airing where you're out, don't comment on like the challenge and go, hey, I'm going to be out. I'm not calling you out individually, but you guys, I believe all you guys that you'll be good, but I have to say it. And so if someone does something, I'm able to call them out on it and it's justified. I hope that all makes sense. I don't want to sound like a bad guy, but it's just fair and respectful to everybody who played this game to have it air in an appropriate way. And so, well, without further ado, I really am thankful for you guys. This has been a very fun experience. I don't really need to keep recording this. It's going to